Hi, and welcome to Living on Purpose with your host, me, Jenny Dean. If you are watching this from YouTube or from Facebook, you're going to see that I'm in a completely brand new studio for the Real News PR firm. And they have several rooms like this. This is actually the cooking studio room. But if you see backwards or behind me, I have 635 just going crazy. And there's a new studio where you can do yoga in, you can do a huge talk show. So anyway, down the line, there will be a lot of fun and exciting stuff happening here. So I'm super excited about that. And we're going to get started for today's podcast. It is January 7th, which I swear every time a year goes by, I feel like it just is like a snap. I feel like time goes by so fast the older that we get. So we just have to be super mindful about everything that we do. And this podcast, I wanted you guys sent me questions about a month ago. I asked people to send me what kind of topics they wanted me to talk about. And I have narrowed about 10 of them down, and I'm sure I have more, which I can always talk about more. So please keep sending me stuff that you have questions about, or if I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer. I can research it and get you the best answer. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the questions and give you my best answer for all the questions that most of you guys, it was, I would say it was like 80% more about diet and nutrition. So, which I love to talk about. So I will dive right in. The first one is, how do I find time to work out? Being a busy mom, and we all have other things to do. And I get it. Like, there are days where I'm like, how am I going to fit it in? So on days like that, I get up early. I set my alarm early. I'm a morning person, so that might be easier for me to do than most people. But it's a non-negotiable for me, because it's not that I like working out. It is, it just sets my tone for the rest of the day and how I feel for the whole day. If I don't do it, I feel like crap and I'm hard on myself and I feel way more stressed out. So in my mind, I know how I'll just make it work. When I was a school teacher, I had to be there at 7 a.m. I was in the gym at 5 a.m. It was non-negotiable. And people, if they don't have time during the morning and they have to work all day long and there's not time at night, there's like 15-minute workouts you can do. You can always walk. I've always said walking is a huge weight loss. And it's a mental thing, and you're out in nature. It's a great tool to have. So just find something that you are able to do, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes. I promise you it'll be worth it. And you'll start to crave out certain things that aren't going to be as important to you. For me, it's watching TV. That's not that important to me. So I would rather work out and spend my time utilizing my body is under stress all day. So I want to release it and get it out, So that's how I would find time. It's just a non-negotiable. Even when I had little babies, I would, because you're not sleeping through the night, I would still find 15 or 20 minutes. I always stuck them in the stroller and just walked. I remember walking to the grocery store, getting my groceries, putting them in the stroller and walking back. Just get me out and using my body has energy. I just have to, utilize it and get it all out. So that is my tip. Don't think it has to be an hour class. It doesn't have to be a class at all. Yes, I teach fitness classes, but it is not the end all be all. There's way more stuff that you can do. And you just have to find something that you like personally and that you want to go to. And it will help you. If you really, really enjoy it, it will help you. And it will help all things. It will make you less tired, less stressed. Everyone knows it's good for you. So just find time, basically. Number 2, eating out in a restaurant. How do you stay on track? So this one's funny. I actually know that you can pretty much eat anywhere healthy. Anywhere now. Nowadays, it used to be really hard, but now I just become friends with the waiter. If I'm at a Hooters is where I've been, and I found a healthy salad. And if you're friendly with the waiter and you kind of tell them, sometimes I'm like, oh, I have an allergy, but I don't really have an allergy. I just don't want to eat, what everyone's eating there, which is the fried food and all that. And not because I'm going to get fat, but because I'm just going to feel like crap afterwards. So find a way where you can either become friendly with the waiter. They can pretty much make whatever you want. And just don't be so difficult and be nice to the waiter. Or always, you can't go wrong with a salad, dressing on the side, and grilled chicken. Take off the cheese if you want to go super healthy. And it can be found and done anywhere. I will say that's probably not the problem people have when they go to restaurants. I think the most problem is when they see what everyone else is ordering, and then the healthy person, which is me, that I've always been made fun of, is she's not going to eat this. She's not going to eat that. What are you going to eat? She's not going to eat that. So, and I'm just used to it now. But I don't get if a fried, calamari's in front of me, I'm not going to be like, holy crap, I have to eat this because everyone else is. I just don't have that. But if you do, then you just have to be aware of it and just say, stick to drinking water or drinking whatever you're drinking, or enjoy your conversation and not worry about the food in front of you. The worst one is like a Mexican food restaurant, and the chips and salsa, people just stuff their face. My kids do it. And I'm like, hold on, let's breathe, And that's probably the hardest, where you can't, if you're trying to lose weight on a weight loss journey, you don't indulge in the chips. Just be mindful and just, you have bigger goals to achieve than right there, instant gratification through the chips, and it will get easier through time. It did not take me like a month. I mean, it took me a while to get there. So, and I say, I've been eating like this for 15 years, but it probably took me 2 or 3 years just to be like, oh, I'm not going to have that because everyone else is, So it will take time, but you can pretty much eat anywhere. That should not be an issue. Where do I start if I'm a beginner of yoga? So I would say not my classes. So I am not a beginner yoga teacher. That is not my gift. I used to do privates and I used to do beginner yoga starting out in my career, but it's not my passion. My passion is power. I want to kick your ass and I want you to feel it the next day. And that's just always been my thing. But the studio I teach at, Hot Body Yoga, we have tons of gifted beginner yoga teachers. You can do online. You can go to YouTube and Google, beginner yoga, and you can find it in Pinterest. You can find it anywhere. On just basic poses. That's the number one people say is they're so intimidated to come to a yoga studio. And I get it. I was the same way. You just have to start somewhere. And I would definitely take a beginner class, nothing with power in it. Power yoga should kick your butt. So if I was a beginner, I would not go to that. And I would just try to learn the poses, 2 or 3 classes of beginner yoga, and then your muscle has memory and it will remember the poses and it will want to be pushed and be harder. Okay, so look for like a yin class. Yin is pure stretching, or just relaxing yoga if you really want the benefits of yoga. All right, and then number 4, passion. How do I find it? I do not know if I know the answer to this. I remember teaching special education right out of college. So I was like 22 years old. And I was a special ed teacher, and I was like the head of the whole middle school in special ed. And I remember being like, I remember a year in, I was like, okay, this is doable. Second year, it wasn't my passion. I could tell. I'm like, God, there's got to be something more to life. And I went 10 years teaching day after day. I went to middle school, high school, elementary. I tried them all. And it just wasn't, I loved children, but it wasn't I didn't have a burning desire until I went to my first yoga class. I was still a school teacher and I just had a small baby and I was like, let's just try this out. And ever since I took that class, it was like, I was just enthralled myself. So, and I do believe I have a passion. And the only way I can tell people to try to find it is try new things. Like, you cannot find something that you're just driving to work, driving home, staying in your house, watching Netflix. Like, you're never going to find your passion. That's just not going to happen. You have to get yourself out of your comfort zone. Like me going into a yoga class, breastfeeding a 3-month-old baby, putting the baby in childcare, going through a yoga class that I've never been before, all by myself. I mean, that's, something I wasn't used to doing. So you have to get outside of your comfort zone. And passions could be anything. Something that I will say, it's mine's gone through seasons, but mine is teaching and learning and growing. All of that like lights a fire in my belly that I can't get enough of it. And that's the only way I can tell you how a passion feels, is it consumes you. You could do it 24/7. And it's a great way. Like, it fires you up and it wakes you up, because, if you're sleepwalking through life, just kind of grinding through day by day, the passion will wake you up and you'll want to grow and learn and focus on that, And I wish everyone would find that. I know people don't go through their whole life. I know people go through their whole life and not find that, which is sad to me, because I do believe God puts that in you, and your job is to find it. Your job is to live out that purpose. And I pray that everyone finds that, but you will not find it by doing your same routine over and over and hanging out with the same people over and over. Like, you've got to change it up to find that. Anyway, I hope that helps. Okay, number 5, how to stay on track during traveling. So I think I travel a lot, not a ton, but anytime I do travel, you can ask anyone that goes with me. I'm the person with the bag in the backpack of all my snacks. Like, if it's like, I plan as if I'm not going to eat for like 3 days. Like, I'm not going to have anywhere to go eat. So it's oatmeal, it's almond butter, I have fruit, I have dried fruit, I have nuts, I have granola, I have anything that's dry pretty much that you can put in a backpack and let it be there for like 3 days. And they always check me on in the line, forget what it's called. But when I get my bag checked, the bag check, that's what it's called.
It's called TSA.
Okay. On the airplane, it is awful, because they always, always, always take my bag, take out every piece of food. They don't ever take it, and it's fine, but they just want to make sure that it's, healthy and no drugs and all that. I take protein powder. I take all of it. So it might look like drugs, but it's not. It's all healthy food. And that is how I stay on track. So if I get to where I'm starving and I want to order a hamburger because I have nothing else to eat, I go in my backpack, and it will just satisfy me until my next meal. And then act like you aren't even out of town. So still go work out, still get enough sleep, hydrate like crazy if you're flying, because it dehydrates you. Just all the same things that you do. Just try not to get off of track so much that you're like, oh my God, I can never get back. Like a lot of people I travel with, we come back on Sunday night and they're like, okay, so on Monday, I'm going to get back and started and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot easier if you don't do that. It's a lot easier if you just kind of stay on track during the whole weekend or whatever it is. And so that on that Monday, you don't feel so much pressure. It's like, okay, I've been doing this. No big deal. Anyway, so that is number 5. Okay. Number 6, when did I start my fitness journey? So that's another thing that people, I don't think, know. I wasn't, I did not come out of the womb like this. I was like 32. So I had 2 babies. And that is when I began my fitness journey. That is when I began like reading about it, learning about it, just enthralling myself inside of anything I could do. It started out swimming laps. It started CrossFitting. I played tennis my whole life. But in the 30s is when I was like, okay, I want to eat clean because I feel better. I want to put good things in my body because I feel better. And I want to physically move because I feel better. And I want to do all this because I don't want to be the mom on the couch, with the kids being like, go play outside. Like, I want to be playing outside with them. There's no reason that I couldn't. So any age should not be an excuse at all. There's 55, 60-year-olds that come into my yoga class and they're like, I'm just starting. And I'm like, push it. Just keep going, and more power to them. You have to start somewhere. So number 7, what are my top book suggestions? As many of you know, I am a huge reader. I read about 2 books a month, sometimes more. So I am like open to suggestions on any self-development, self-discovery, anything that I can better myself, I'm going to be reading. So my number one is Find Your Happy. I did bring this book. It is, you can tell it has been through the ringer, but it's the one that I started yoga teacher training with. And God, I keep this on my desk and I will always refer back to it. There's just so many good things in it. That would be the one I would start out with. And then Seed of the Soul, I talked about. That's Oprah's favorite book. It has a podcast that goes with it, every single chapter. Really, really good about digging deep into your soul and your soul's purpose. The 4 agreements, I've always talked about. That's what we base our yoga training on. And it's just how you should live your life on those 4 agreements. Purpose-Driven Life is another one by Rick Warren. And that is, find your purpose and why you're here so you can live, your best life. Those are my top 4 suggestions. Number 8, how to make fitness a priority. Okay. So I think I posted on my Instagram the last week saying it was like Friday morning. Kids were still not in school yet. And I had a lot to do that day just with kids and errands. And I wanted to sleep in. Like sleeping into me is like 6 o'clock, 7 maybe. And I didn't have to teach till 8:30. And it was like 5:30 and my alarm goes off just internally. It just goes off. And I was like, I'm going to lay in bed. Like there's no reason I have to go work out. I can work out later. But I will say I don't let the negative talk go through my brain. I just kind of just wake up and just suck it up and just go. But there are days that I don't want to do any of that. There are days where people have the misconception that I love working out. I don't. I really don't. I don't like that my muscles burn like hell and that, I can't breathe through half my workout. And I get it all. I push myself and I am disciplined enough to just push myself through. But I don't like it. I don't like any of it. I feel uncomfortable. In my head, I'm complaining as much as the next person. The difference, I think, is I wake up and I still do it daily and daily, no matter what. No matter, it's a non-negotiable, no matter what. I mean, even though I know I'm going to hate it, I get a high after the feeling. So I know afterwards I'm going to feel amazing. Like I always tell myself, get through 1 hour. And it's hell. 1 hour, like I did it today and it was hell. But it's 1 hour, it's 4% of your day, and you just keep pushing, and you will eventually be like, oh, now I see why, people actually want to do this, how they want to get out of the funk that they're in. It's just about changing the state that your body's in. And it's a huge mind-blowing thing that people just have to be consistent. So that is how you make it a priority. It should be just like brushing your teeth. It is for me. It's like, okay, how am I going to fit it in today? Because it's going to happen. I just have to figure out on my schedule what time's the best. It should be non-negotiable if that is your goal. Okay. And then number 9, what to eat before and after a workout. That just depends on what you're doing. So if you're doing a yoga class in the morning, I would have water and maybe like a yogurt, and that's about it. Okay, go to your yoga class and then eat your big meal afterwards with protein, fat, carbs. If you're doing like a cross training, functional training, anything with weightlifting and running and super, super high intensity, your body needs carbs to run on energy. So oatmeal with almond butter, so carbs, fat, protein, all of that stuff. You'll just have a better workout. And the worst feeling in the world is to be hungry during a workout. Awful, awful, awful. Like you feel weak. All you want to do is quit and just walk out and go eat. It's just not good. So always be prepared. You could even do a protein shake during your workout. There's nothing wrong with that. So it just depends. It varies on what workout you're doing and how long you're going to be working out. All of that. I always keep protein in my car in a shaker bottle. So I can just add water to it, shake it up, and just down it. That's just because protein builds muscle, and I don't want to waste everything I just did, for the hour that I kicked my butt on. Anyways, okay, the last one. Is it okay to change your workouts? And I say yes. Everything has a season. Workouts are no different. I started tennis player growing up, swimmer during pregnancy, like full on, put weights on my wrists, weights on my ankles, and just swam my butt off, both pregnancies. And then I got into CrossFit for 4 years, like really heavy in that. And then I did all yoga, only yoga. I wanted to learn everything about yoga for about 6 years. And then now I'm doing like cross training, functional training. So yes, I think everything should change. You should never get complacent. There should be no wrong with changes. And just keep trying new things, because you want whatever works for you, whatever you want to go back to and be like, oh, that made me feel really good. You need to keep doing that. Keep doing that, and you'll get stronger at that thing. You'll be like, okay, what's next? What else can I do that's going to challenge me? And then your body wants to be challenged. So keep trying new things, no matter what. All right, so that is 10 of the questions that you guys had. And I know that's not all of them, but please message me. But most of you are doing that a lot, messaging me on Instagram, telling me, what to talk about. And I really, really appreciate that. I just care that you guys are listening. That means the world to me. I want to end by this final saying that I actually found in Find Your Happy book that I love. It says, if you let go a little, you will have a little of happiness. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of happiness. And if you let go completely, you will be completely happy. Just a great, great quote. So this will conclude the podcast. Please reach out to me on Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram. Facebook, I am on a little bit, but I read all my messages. I respond to you guys. So I am here for you. Remember that. I would love to help anyone. If you have any questions, email me, and I will see you guys next week.